Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today I will be rating every player's performance from Tottenham Hotspur's 1-0 loss to Brighton and Hove Albion at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first time in almost 41 years since the 1980s. That was the last time that Brighton had won away at Tottenham in the Premier League. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. We're just under 20 away from 500, so please help us hit that big number very, very soon. We're almost there. But without further ado, let's start right with Hugo Laurice. Now, with Laurice, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Didn't have any crazy saves to make. Handled the ball well. Distributed as well as he could. Could have done a little bit better. I mean, I would have liked to see some more longer balls up towards Son and Kane. But honestly, couldn't do really anything about the goal. He was kind of left out in the open, and it was a really good finish from Leandro Trossard to put it right past him. So nothing really terrible on his part. Next up is Ben Davies in the defense. Davies, I'm going to give him a 6. Alongside Dyer, he was just there. He was defending pretty well. Should have given a... he did get a foul against Enoch Mwepu, who the Brighton man kicked Ben Davies in the face. And honestly, Mwepu really should have gotten a red card there, a second yellow there, because that is definitely a yellow card. But other than that, Davies really did nothing terrible and didn't really do much right. I mean, the passes were okay. No one's passing accuracy was great today, but he didn't do anything shockingly bad. Moving into Dyer, I'm also going to give him a 6. Could have done a lot better for the goal. I feel that he could have closed Leandro Trossard down a little bit more, considering that Romero had been kind of shoved out of the way already. So I think he could have done a little bit better for the goal. But other than that, he really didn't do much wrong. Headed the ball away a couple times. But really, something needs to happen to our free kick and corner routines, because if the corners get put into the right area, he can head them in. But we never, for some reason, we always seem to take short corners now. Son always wants to take short corners, and something will happen, like offside or a missed pass, or we're forced to go back to our center backs, and the whole thing restarts. So it gets kind of frustrating there, and I think especially for like Dyer, Romero, Bentancur, people who can head the ball in, they're kind of waiting for a decent cross, which we know Sonny can deliver. Moving on to Christian Romero. Now, Romero, I'd say, was our best defender today, so I'm going to give him a 6.75. Wasn't anything great, but I think it would have been 3-0 if we didn't have him, because he was able to, really keep the players out, keep Brighton out, especially with some good last-ditch tackles. Made some drives into the box, won some corners. But again, same thing with Dyer. I think he would have liked if there were some actual corners put into the box, because he's another good header of the ball, and we know that because he's tall, he's physical. For the goal, I think very unlucky from Kuti, because the ball kind of ricocheted in between Romero's legs, and that kind of fell for Trossard, so a little unlucky, but maybe he could have done better clearing it, but it's very hard to see, because Welbeck really fired the ball into Kuti's legs at some speed, so not a lot of time to react. But I think those two, Romero and Dyer, could have done a little bit better, specifically Dyer, and even Davies. I think Davies should have closed him down a little bit more, Trossard, because he was at that angle. He should just be closed down there and block any route to the goal, especially in the 90th minute. But yeah, I think just a little bit off from all the defenders. Not the greatest correlation between the defenders. We move into midfield now with Emerson Royal, who kept his right wing back position. For Emerson, I think I'm going to give him a 6.5. I thought he was actually pretty good today. He made a lot of very decent runs, but no one ever saw him today, and that was quite frustrating, because he made some really good runs. He's got the pace. We know he can dribble. Can't quite deliver a cross in, but his passing is definitely getting better. So if Kulu, Kane, Son, any of them could have found Højbjerg, Bentancur, any of the center backs, if they could have found Emerson's runs, I think it would have been safe and away with a goal. But he just never could be found on that right side, which was a little bit frustrating, because I think if he had been found, we would have had a lot more through roads into the goal. But yeah, not a terrible performance from Emerson Royal on that right side. We're gonna move on to the other side, the left side, and start with Sergio Reguilon, who came in for the injured Matt Doherty, who did suffer an injury against Aston Villa last time out. Sergio Reguilon, I'm going to give him a 6.25. He used his pace well at times, had this really big opportunity where Højbjerg sliced the ball into the middle of the box, and Reguilon just went to ground too early, and that kind of slowed his pace down, and then he just could not get the ball. I think if he had just continued running for just a little bit, and then gone to ground maybe when the ball is a little closer, I think that was a definite goal, because Robert Sanchez was nowhere near. The defenders were all behind the ball. Reguilon was almost the only one. He had basically an open goal there. So if he got even as much as a touch in the right direction, I think that would have been a goal. But yeah, it was a very, very tight situation. Other than that, he really didn't have many chances, although he really could have done better with passes. The whole team struggled a lot with passes today. Moving on to Højbjerg, I'm going to give him a 6.75. No one was great today, none of our midfielders, but Højbjerg, I think, was probably one of the best. I mean, at least he was getting some of his passes off. No one got a good amount of their passes off. Everyone was misplacing passes multiple times throughout the game. But Højbjerg, I think, was probably the best of a bad bunch. He at least got some of his passes off correctly. And, you know, he did better than the other half of the team, but he did pass back a lot. He did have, I believe, one chance. I think it was Højbjerg. Let me just check. Or it might have been actually Bentancur. Okay, yeah, it was Bentancur. Sorry, Bentancur, who took that shot from outside the box off the ricochet from Son, and fired it at goal, but it was just wide. It wasn't Højbjerg. So Højbjerg really didn't have a shot on goal, but he's probably one of our better players today. Other midfielder today was Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur, I'm going to give the same rating as Højbjerg, a 6.75. Same thing as Højbjerg. He didn't do terribly today. Did have that one shot on target, off target, but it was a good shot from outside the box. Just didn't get enough wrap around his foot from it. But still, it was a decent performance, but nothing close to what the levels he's shown in the past. I think this is really the first game where Bentancur and Kulusevski have really dropped off in their level. They've just completely fallen off in this game. They were nowhere near the levels that they showed in the past. And then Bentancur did come off for Harry Winks in the 72nd minute. Not the greatest switch in the world, because Harry Winks, we know he's not a great player, but with the selections we have on the bench, including, two defenders, the youngest right back, Marcel Lavinier, a left wing back in Sessegnon, and a defensive midfielder in White, who's very young. We have really no other options to bring on for Bentancur other than Winks. So I think that was really the only thing that we could have done there. And then we're going to move into attack now, starting with Kulusevski. For Kulusevski, this is probably, again, his worst performance in a while. He really should have done... it was really pretty poor today. All things considered, he just could not dribble, could not pass. He lost his temper a couple of times. Including when he slapped Cucurella, and it could have been a red card, straight red. He was very lucky to only have a yellow against him, but really got on the ball barely any times, couldn't dribble anywhere. And so there was nothing coming from that right side with Kulusevski struggling as much as he did today. This is probably the lowest level we've seen from him in a while, and yeah, it wasn't a great performance from him. He just could not do anything with the ball as much as he received it. We're going to move to the other flank now with Heung-min Son. Now, Son, I'm going to give him the exact same, a 5.5. He was just as, I think, poor as Kulusevski, maybe a little better. He did have one or two shots off, but he was very sluggish, Son. Just did not make any runs that we needed. So Kane, Dyer, Romero, Davies. No one could find that run because Son just wasn't making it. He just wasn't active throughout the whole game. It was very stagnant at times. And so that, I think, really hurt the way we went forward. And lastly, in attack, we have none other but striker Harry Kane. For Harry Kane, I'm going to give him a 5.5 as well. Whole attack, it's the same rating. He was great at Aston Villa, decided to jet off to America to watch the Masters tournament, and ever since he's been suffering jet lag or something, because he was pretty bad in this game. Just like Son and Kulu, very, very sluggish, slow. They weren't reading the game right. I think he got a big knock on his ankle. He seemed to be okay though. But yeah, not a great performance from any of our attackers. For the substitutes, I'm going to do them very informally. Lucas Moore was the first one in the 64th minute who came on for Kulusevski. I'm going to give him a 6.25. He brought the effort, he brought the running, he brought the commitment, but he didn't bring any quality on the ball. No good passes, some good dribbles. He had one chance where he ran along the right side of the pitch and tried to blast it into the center of the field, but it just wasn't strong enough, and Robert Sanchez had an easy job there. Harry Winks came on in the 75th minute. I'm not going to rate him, not on for enough, but honestly, he didn't do anything wrong. And then Bergwijn was way too late. 88 minutes. You can't be bringing Bergwijn on that late, especially when he's got 4 goals in his last 4 appearances for club and country, counting in against Newcastle, Germany, and last 1, 2, 3. Yeah, last 4 excluding today's game. He's got 4 goals in 4 matches. So, yeah, I think he deserved to come on way earlier than he did. But yeah, not a shocking result today, and one that has basically blasted the whole title race wide open. Yeah, it's going to be a big, tight race, and a lot of it matters on this Arsenal and Southampton result that's going to be happening today. As of now, it's still 0-0 in the 11th minute of the match, but we'll see how that goes on from now. But that's it for our player ratings. If you enjoyed, make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button to, if you like our content, comment down below what you would rate the players and who your man of the match is. And until next time, come on you Spurs!